Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Faith Turner, and I'm joined by my teammates Andrew Mannion, Lindsay Brewer, and Ace Moran. We're representing Crestline Capital, and today we're presenting our redevelopment proposal for Britton Plaza in Tampa, Florida, a transformation of this property into a hybrid lifestyle center and community hub. Our presentation will cover four key areas: an overview of the market, our redevelopment thesis and vision for the property, anchor negotiations and considerations, and finally, our concluding recommendations for ownership. Britton Plaza is a 31.9-acre retail center, currently 75% occupied with only 25% of South Tampa market rent. The site sees over 31,000 vehicles per day. Our customer base averages 195,000 in household income within 3 miles and includes a daytime population of nearly 100,000 people, a strong demographic that values both convenience and affordability. As shown here, Britton Plaza sits in a highly visible, high traffic corridor just minutes from downtown Tampa and also the Tampa International Airport. This positioning gives us an excellent opportunity to reimagine the center as a key retail and lifestyle destination within one of Tampa's most affluent trade areas. Currently, the center has 25% vacancy with numerous tenants operating on month-to-month leases. Of these vacancies, many are large format boxes, which highlights tremendous potential for repurposing and also re-tenanting the space with a modern mix of retail, service, and lifestyle users. This sets the foundation for our redevelopment strategy moving forward, so I'm going to let my friend Lindsay Brewer tell you a little bit more about it.
Thanks, Faith. Now I'm going to walk you through our redevelopment thesis from converting Britton Plaza into a hybrid lifestyle center and community hub. We're going to add new open-air green space surrounded by small shops and experiential dining, refresh the existing open-air plaza in the northeast corner of the center, focus on our inline strips, leasing service-based tenants, develop a pathway of sidewalks across the center connecting the anchors and central lifestyle node, and do basic but essential revitalization work, such as modernizing the facades, enhancing the landscaping, and repaving the parking lot. Now I'm going to walk you through the details of our current lease plan. First, we will lease this vacant big box with Academy Sports, alleviating a current co-tenancy violation with Burlington. Currently, this section right here is a vacant big box. We'll demolish this vacant big box to make additional parking and create an access road to Publix, providing an additional ingress-egress point and help us alleviate potential congestion with future construction. Conviva is currently located in this suite. We will relocate them here to make room for Ulta. We prefer to lease Ulta on this premier inline location with Publix. This box by Publix is currently vacant, but it's a little bit too small for Ross, but the tenant next to them is on a month-to-month lease. We'll terminate that lease, demolish the wall, and expand to have enough GLA for Ross. We will lease J. Crew in the excess of that square footage, and then ideally Bath & Body Works between J. Crew and Ulta. Currently, this corner of Burlington is another tenant on a month-to-month lease. We would demolish the wall between them after terminating that month-to-month lease and expand Burlington to make room for these additional tenants that we're going to put on the side by Dale Mabry. Right now, this section between Burlington and Academy that we have as parking is currently a section of inline shops who are all on a month-to-month lease or whose leases expire at the end of the year. At the termination of their leases, we will demolish this section and add additional parking to make in total enough parking to make up for the parking that we've taken away by putting the lifestyle node here. Now let's focus on the big box by Marshalls. We're going to demolish the front half of this big box, add an additional parking, put curbside parking against it, and then ideally lease it with Famous Footwear and Five Below. Now that we've made up for that parking, we can finally focus on the central lifestyle node, putting a green space here, experiential dining, a boutique clothing store, and a dessert place. We have a sidewalk running across it. We developed a sidewalk north to south, connecting the top half of the center to the bottom, as well as a sidewalk connecting Publix to that central lifestyle node. We decided to construct a gazebo in front of Publix, distinguishing them as our premier anchor tenant. As you can see down here, we decided to add greenery along Dale Mabry, increasing the overall curbside appeal of the center, as well as adding a pylon side to attract customers based on our ideal current tenant lineup. Now I'm going to pass it off to Ace, who's going to go more into the visuals of our redevelopment plan.
Thanks, Lindsay. To go more in depth with this plan, the rendering below is a visual of our lifestyle concept at the heart of the plaza. This space will encourage people to dine, relax, and spend time, which will transform Britton Plaza into a destination rather than just a shopping spot. This before and after shows the transformation of the interior courtyard. The outdated, underutilized space becomes a bright, modern social area. These additions include shade sails, seating areas, and planters, along with enhanced walkability. Moving on, below is an example of our facade modernization strategy. After our renovations, brick and neutral tones will modernize the look. New signage and materials will also elevate the tenant's presence. This approach will be replicated across other facades to create a consistent aesthetic. Public remains the anchor and cornerstone of this redevelopment. With that in mind, we decided to focus on the pedestrian experience. This includes a gazebo, improved crosswalk greenery, and more pedestrian-friendly pathways. These upgrades connect Publix to the rest of the center, encouraging community interaction. Finally, here below is our newly designed pylon sign for Britton Plaza. Modern brand identity for key tenants, and this pylon is positioned strategically near the Dunkin' Donuts and Dale Mabry Highway for maximum visibility, which reinforces the center's new image as a modern retail destination. Now I'll pass along to Andrew to discuss the financials of this plan.
Thanks, Asa. Now I want to get into the financial implications of this development. As you can see here, we're currently at 118,500 vacant square feet, which we're trying to push down to 20,000 in the next 3 years through our leasing and development strategy. This is supported by the fact that we're only marking it from 25% of market rent to 50% of market rent to account for our local tenants and strong leasing strategy. This together with a strategy of trading square footage for dollars per square foot of basically trying to go for more bang for your buck means that our EGI goes from 2.72 million up to 7.13 million. This is also supported by market dynamics. So you can see there's positive net absorption, lowering vacancy, and growing rent, meaning that there's strong demand for spaces and that inventory is going up to chase that demand. Now moving into our anchor negotiations and considerations. As you can see here, we have to first account for the needs of our tenants before anything else. Regardless of what we want to put in, we have to account for the future growth of the center, and these are our long-term partners. Publix, Marshalls, and Michaels all have similar restrictions in things like parking or new parcels. Specifically, Marshalls has a restriction on 3.5 spaces per 1,000 square feet. Publix will be concerned about our lifestyle node, so we have located it on the opposite side from them, so it does not impact their parking field. To account for additional congestion from the new retail, we have also demolished Suite 3902, which will give an additional access road and new parking to help alleviate that congestion. We're also repaving all the parking, going from a wide diagonal design to a narrow vertical design, which adds back more spaces. Overall, this gives us a count of 1827, which exceeds all of our tenants' needs. Finally, we're going to be using a sidewalk network to increase connectivity between our main boxes and promoting dwell time with our lifestyle node in the center. Finally, we want to go into co-tenancy restrictions. As you can see here, our biggest concern is Burlington, who are currently we are in violation with. As our space 3916 is currently not leased, which is over 30,000 square feet, meaning that they only pay 4% of their sales as rent, and they have the ability to leave the center at any time with a 30-day notice, which is very bad for us if other tenants choose to follow them. So our immediate remediation for this is to lease up that space that formerly belonged to Steinmart to Academy Sports to cure the co-tenancy trigger. And additionally, while we are redeveloping the wall for the inline tenants along Burlington's wall, we will also be accounting for keeping their doors open at all times by putting up a dust wall in order to prevent construction from impacting the customer experience. Finally, when that interior wall is finished, that dust wall can come down and the further development can happen on the other side without interrupting any sort of flow of business. Finally, we will be phasing our demolition and leasing strategy to ensure we never go below the required GLA for any of these co-tenancy restrictions. Specifically, we'll be starting with leasing the Academy space and the Ross space before demolishing that 3902 for Publix. Now I'll be passing it off to Asa to talk about prohibited and exclusive use restrictions.
Thanks, Andrew. This slide reviews and outlines the key anchor restrictions that guided our redevelopment strategy. Burlington prohibits restaurants within 100 feet, gyms and discount apparel users over 24,000 square feet. Publix allows only 2 restaurants within specific size and distance limits, while Marshalls restricts restaurant use to certain suites. To comply, we strategically placed Ford's Garage and Jeremiah's Italian Ice more than 500 feet away from Publix and resized Ross to 24,000 square feet. To wrap up, Britton Plaza's redevelopment redefines it as more than just a shopping center. It becomes a true community hub where people can shop, dine, and connect. With these upgrades, we're positioning the center for long-term, stronger tenant synergy and lasting local impact.